Welcome to the High Performance Man podcast. I am your host, John Fayocavitz. On this show, I interview successful men who have built impressive careers and businesses, founders, CEOs, senior leaders, and professionals who have operated at a high level for years. We talk about what actually made them successful. So the goal is simple: to learn directly from men who have done it so we can apply those insights in our own careers, businesses, and lives and continue raising our own standard of performance. The show is sponsored by the Prime Performance Method. The Prime Performance Method is designed specifically for high-performing men who have achieved success in their careers but feel like their body and energy have taken a hit along the way. We help busy professional men regain strength, regain their energy, and feel younger without long workouts, extreme dieting, or disrupting their demanding schedule. So if you're a high-performing man who wants to feel as strong and energized as you are successful, message me, John Fayocavitz, on LinkedIn. On today's show, we have Bryan Adams, who is the CEO of HappyDance, where he helps companies create better digital and employer brand experiences. Welcome, Bryan. Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, my pleasure, John. Great to meet you.
You too. Okay. Well, my first question is, what's the most important lesson you've learned so far that has helped you become successful in your business?
Do you know, this is something that's reoccurred over a 20-year career, John.
Okay.
And usually every year in between Christmas and New Year, I'll make a plan for the new year. And every single time, without fail, the first draft of that plan is not ambitious enough. And
Wow.
the one lesson that I've learned is I'll put that in a drawer for 2 or 3 days, come back to it, and then challenge myself to set my heights bigger, because sometimes I've fallen into the trap of delivering exactly what I set out to, only to realize I could have achieved more.
More. Okay. So if you set higher expectations, is that what you're trying to do?
Absolutely. Challenge yourself to aim higher, think differently. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. How many years you've said you've had? Your 20 years of the HappyDance?
So HappyDance was born out of a company that I started 20 years ago. And so I've had a long consultancy career, and HappyDance was the digital web technology arm of that business. And it was so interesting and exciting and successful that I ended up closing the consultancy just to focus on the tech side of the business. And it was the best decision I ever made.
So how many years were you in the consulting then?
So 17 years, and then I ran HappyDance for a few years concurrently, and just nearly 3 years ago closed the consultancy just to focus. So it's been a long, nearly 20 years of consultancy.
Wow, that's awesome. And what kind of are you doing, companies or individuals or?
Yeah, so we typically work with global brands. So I've worked with Nike, Apple, American Airlines. At the
Wow.
moment, yeah, the HappyDance, we've just signed HubSpot, Snowflake, Uber. So it's large global brands we typically work with.
Wow, that is amazing. That's awesome. There are some huge companies there. So how did you get in touch with those? I mean, was it through marketing, word of mouth?
So I started out from a consultancy perspective. It was a very, very small niche called employer branding. So I was lucky I was there at the start. I then wrote a book on how to do it, which changed the industry and was adopted as the best practice. And then from that, I had a lot of opportunity to meet big brands that wanted me to do exactly what it said in the book. One of those was Nike. So that was a real successful story for me. I wrote about them in the book as from a perspective of a lover of the brand. And then somebody at Nike read the book, rang me up, and next thing you know, I'm actually consulting on them and doing their global employer brand. So that was exciting.
Wow. Do you have any contact with Phil Knight at all?
So I did get to see Phil Knight when I was at the campus. They had like a big annual event that they have every year, and Phil Knight spoke, so I got to see him speak. Yeah.
Wow, that is so interesting, man. That would be my dream would be that Michael Jordan shows up.
So Michael Jordan wasn't there, but I did see. I saw Ronaldo. He was there on campus when I was there, and LeBron James was there when I was
Oh
on
yeah,
campus. Yeah,
very good. How big is that camp? Is it like the an ESPN type campus? Is it that big?
it's huge. They have. I want to say, oh, I mean, there must be 20 or 30 very big buildings, each named after an amazing, iconic um, sports person. So there's a Tiger Woods building, there's a Sabrina Williams building, there's a LeBron James building. Like, so it's giant. It's absolutely huge. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That's so good. All
Mm.
right, my next question. So, what do you think hinders a lot of men today, Bryan, from reaching their full potential?
Um, I think imposter syndrome is real. I think the limiting beliefs, um,
Okay.
and I think also I reached out to a guy called Seth Godin once. He's a best-selling author multiple times. He must have written 20 incredible marketing books, and he's an icon in the marketing space. And I once reached out to him to appear on a podcast I was running at the time, and he said yes. And I was floored. I couldn't believe he said yes. So when I did the interview with him, I said, out of interest, Mr. Godin, why did you agree to do my podcast? And he said, because you asked me. Most people assume that because I'm famous, I won't answer and I won't say yes. But actually, what you dared to do is take some action and ask. And that was a big life lesson for me. And since then, I've reached out to a number of other people that I really respect and admire. And what I found generally is if people are successful, part of the reason they're successful is because they're also generous and they pass information down and they support the value of a community. So um, I would say don't underestimate the power of reaching out and asking for help. Because generally people are nice and they can be generous and build your community and you'll get there a lot faster.
Great, great, great. Now, would you say that I always try to the word fear always comes into play?
Yeah, I think everybody's got imposter syndrome and fear of failure and all the rest of it. And they say experience is learning from failure. So I can tell you, I'm very experienced. I've made more mistakes than I have achieved goals. But you know, what's that they say about Michael Jordan and how many shots he's missed? You've got to
Yep.
take the shot in order to miss it, and you've got to take the shot in order to hit it as well. So, um, that old cliche book now, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway, is something I read probably 15 years ago. And I remember once I nearly went out of business because I had a debilitating fear of public speaking and it was holding me back. I
Yep.
wasn't going to sales opportunities. I couldn't network confidently. So we actually nearly went out of business because of that, because I was literally burying my head and I wouldn't go and seize the opportunities. So I did a stand-up comedy course and it took 6 weeks to do. And it was the most terrifying experience of my life. I lost 12 pounds in weight through just sheer fear and terror and worry and anxiety. But when I came out the other end, sadly, I didn't become a professional comedian, but I did gain the confidence to stand in front of rooms of people and sell my business and be an ambassador for my company. And that saved my company actually. And now public speaking is something that I really enjoy, and it's been a big part of me growing the HappyDance brand and the consultancy before it.
Wow. Bryan, that's excellent insight, man. That's to go out and do something like that, okay, just to get your business off the ground again. I mean, That's amazing. That's great. Great. All right. My next question. For most men on the road to business or professional success, other areas of their life get sacrificed. What's been one of the areas of your life that has suffered, if there has been? Okay. But where would you like to be successful now, too? Is there an area that you'd like to be more successful at?
Yeah, so I mentioned I had a 20-year career. I think it's fair to say that the first half of that came at the expense of family life and people around me. I was the typical workaholic, spend 18 hours in the office, go home, neglect relationships, and so on and so forth. And, personally, I had some harsh lessons there. Thankfully, the last 10 years, I've sort of made up for it and sort of reflected and learned. Because I think it's true, you can have all the things, you just can't have all the things at once.
Right.
So there are trade-offs, and having a partner or having a family or a community around you that is a support network, not jealous of the time away or so and so forth, but helping is a massive help. In fact, I think it takes a village to grow a successful organization. You need support around you. But these days, I find that I'd sort of lean into a flywheel effect, and I'll find that if I drag my ass out of bed in the morning and go to the gym at 6 a.m., I'm definitely going to eat better that day. If I eat better, I probably won't have the two beers in the evening. If I don't have the two beers in the evening, I've got more time to focus on work and I'll do great work. So the discipline of putting in solid work, looking after your household, going to the gym, eating well. I take my supplements if all of those things are working. So I find that it's more of a flywheel effect, that if you get started, it's easier to do all of the things. It's only when you sort of slack, I won't go to the gym today, which means I probably won't take my supplements, or I might have a couple of beers now. I find that it's easier for me to stay on the rails and use a flywheel effect to drive
Yes.
forward, stay
It's like a
energetic.
chain reaction type thing.
Absolutely. And the
And that,
routine and the rigor of that routine gives me a lot of confidence and I feel good.
well, you just took my next question. Because I like to know where, because most of your successful people on the podcast that I'm doing, they do have some sort of not, it doesn't have to be a morning routine, but some kind of routine where they just do it over and over and over again because it gets them started for the day or anything like that. Do you have something that you specifically block off time, or is it you just,
Yeah. So I typically don't take meetings before 11 a.m. and I'll go to the gym, I'll do some quiet work and just think. And um, I used to feel guilty doing nothing for 30 to 60 minutes after the gym. Um, and now I feel like it sets me up for success. It's good time to review and think and all the rest of it. So once I get going and have meetings, all the rest of it, I'll go 100 miles an hour. And what I found is I need to build in time to just think about the day before, think about what I'm trying to achieve in the day ahead, think about some decisions I've made, or reflect on conversations that I've had. Uh, and if I don't do that, typically the day will not go well for me. So it's
correlation? Yep. There's a big correlation. And what I always talk about is mindful.
mhm.
Okay. Being mindful in the things that even in eating, that's what they call mindful eating. I mean, you don't have to go and gorge yourself. I mean, we're not built to eat a tremendous amount of food. We're there just for nourishment. That's what you got to think as food as nourishment and not as a pleasure. And you
Yeah,
just be mindful. And that's what you do in the mornings is you sit back and you go over what you got to do for the day, what you did the past day. Okay. And you get your mindset.
absolutely. And that means that I can be quite intentional on the actions I take. And I'm with you on the sort of the diet thing. In fact, once a month I like to do a 3-day fast. And I find that is a fantastic time to
Yes.
re-energize, refocus, and remind myself that I've got the discipline to do something. if I want to do it.
Yeah.
So that helps me from a number of angles actually.
Well, it does. Yeah, I do it every quarter is what I do it. Every 3 months, I do a 3-day fast.
Nice.
And, they say that your stomach is your second brain.
Yeah, yeah,
So if you can get your mind and your gut together, man, you're going to be an awesome person.
yeah, absolutely. And do you find that you've got more energy after the first 24 hours?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's
Absolutely. Because there's nothing in there bogging you down. Okay. You really,
exactly.
you really have energy stored. That's why the fat that people have on their body, that's stored energy.
Mhm.
So you don't need to be feeding it every single day. And that's what people think. It's like, you have stored energy. That's how you get rid of body
Yeah.
fat.
Yeah, that's right. And I was reading that just giving your body a break from constantly digesting food means you've got a chance to repair, and you've got all
Yeah.
of that extra energy back.
How's your
So
how's your sleep?
this sleep is always improved when that's when I do that, and only when I go off routine does my sleep suffer. I mean, I travel quite a lot. The last few days, I went to Orlando from London to speak at a conference. Literally do an hour's talk and then get back on the plane and come back. So my
Wow.
sleep currently is disrupted, and it's going to take me a few days to get back on track. But you have to intentionally stick to your routine, get back on routine.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. My next question, I ask all my guests because I get various, and there's so many different things. Where do you find yourself more at peace? Doing something, thinking, what do you find yourself where you could just decompress?
So I don't know whether you can see this here, but
Beautiful.
I spend a lot of time uh, just on my own thinking and trying to be out in nature, or and that for me is the best way to just re-energize, refocus. So I'm a an extroverted introvert, which means I like people, I like socializing, I like speaking, and but then I need to withdraw and go back into my cave to recharge. So
Right.
yeah, typically
You do
that's
that again. Was that part of your morning routine to go outside?
yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's what they say, isn't it? Get grass under your feet and
Well, that's, yeah, earthing. They call that earthing, where you just walking bare feet on the grass.
absolutely. I mean, you can't beat that with a good cup of coffee in the
Yep.
morning. Absolutely.
But you probably get more sunshine. You get a lot of sunshine days.
It's not so bad. I mean, London, we're just under London. It's not England isn't known for great weather, but
Right.
we do have really good summers, to be fair. So, and it's beautiful this time of year.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. One thing, if you can give one piece of advice to other men that are trying their journey of achieving success, what would that be?
So one of the biggest, I mean, I mentor people that work for me, and I've done a little bit of this over the years. I think the first thing is to actually define what is success for you. What does what
Exactly.
what's the goal? Be very tangible and intentional about what you're trying to achieve, because I find without clarity and focus, then the day will take you where the day will take you. You're not in control of where you're going. So I would first make sure you define what success looks like. Um, and then I would sort out and hang out with people who've already got that type of success. Just being around people who've already achieved what you're trying to achieve is an incredible, underrated, simple thing that you can do. I mentioned this before, but don't be afraid to reach out and ask for help. Um, People who have achieved something that they're proud of tend to like to talk about it and also share wisdom and help people do the same thing and give
Right.
insight. So I would literally start there, and work backwards, but understand what is success, tangibly define it, and the clearer you can see it, the easier it is to find.
Because it's going to be different for so many people. I mean,
Absolutely.
I mean, it could
Absolutely.
be a monetary thing, or it could be just something socially or anything.
Yeah.
And when you mentioned that, going back to what hinders a lot of the men who try to get success, there's two things that pop up in my mind. And getting, you mentioned it right there, and I call it distractions. Okay. I mean, in today's world with the internet and social media, man, you've got to block out that noise
Oh, yeah,
and you got
absolutely.
to, you said it, you got to focus on what you're trying to achieve and don't let anybody get in your way of that goal.
Absolutely. It's very easy to waste a lot of time in the day. We've all done it. We've all doom scrolled and looked at our phone for too long and procrastinated and all that kind of stuff. But
Right.
a little bit of discipline each day, a little bit of protected time, a little bit of focus, with the clarity you need goes a long way because you're not going to, it's not a sprint. This isn't a sprint. I mean, I've had a 20-year career and I think I'm, you know, I think we're all guilty of not reflecting on the success we've had each year as well. But this has been a long and winding road for me for sure.
Awesome. Awesome, Bryan. And I bet that, you get up in the morning looking forward to the day because you enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. But you've also got to get up in the day and face into days that you are not looking forward to and have those tough, difficult conversations, make yourself do those things that aren't going to go away. You have to take the rough with the smooth. And so I think discipline and routine gets you through some of those tough days. But I also do think it has to come with a little bit of balance. Every now and again, I'll get up in the morning and my energy is not there. And I'll give myself a break and I'll take a day off. And that's not something I did many years ago, but now I do. And I wish I'd have done that many years ago because sometimes you've got to listen to your body and that's what you need.
Right. And you feel better the next day.
Absolutely. And um, an entrepreneur or somebody who has a goal and they have the clarity of what that is and all the rest of it, you're not idle. You'll give yourself a break. All you're doing is taking the pressure off of a work rate and a workload and the stress of having to do jobs that will be there tomorrow. Sometimes that extra time just to sit and do nothing and recharge, that brings a lot of focus and benefit to the next day as well.
That's one of the things I got to watch when I do my workouts. I mean, I feel guilty if I miss a day. I still haven't gotten through that yet, but I'm getting a little bit better. I mean, I don't go to the gym as long, but it's just,
It's a
I
double-edged
don't
sword,
know.
isn't it?
I,
Because part of that drive is what keeps you going. And
yes,
and there's nothing wrong with the positive addiction of what you get from going to the gym. Um, but you can overtrain and you
yep,
can beat yourself up. And it's just finding that balance.
yes, it is. Well, Bryan, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. Thank you so much for taking the time to be on. Your insights, your stories are going to be awesome for our audience to listen to. We're on 3 different channels. We're on podcast, or we're on the YouTube, we're on Podbean and Spotify.
Great.
So this will be viewed by quite a few people. What we're going to do also is send you a copy, okay, of this, edited out, and you'll get a copy of that. You can do with it what you wish, okay?
Great. Good
And
stuff.
good. As a reminder, everyone listening to this show is brought to you by the Prime Performance Method, where I help people build strength, energy, and confidence without sacrificing their careers. If you are ready to feel as strong in your body as you are successful in your business, message me at John Fayocavitz on LinkedIn. Until our next episode, perform strong in all areas of your life.